Welcome back. Well, you've done a lot about corporate governance. Now that we're going for this loan, many will be of that impression that it will be properly deployed and utilized. Do you think that a lot has changed between then and now to give us that confidence that, yes, let's go ahead and do this?
No, the confidence, and you listen to all commentators and analysts, you find out that the reservation is the trust that the right thing will be done is still shortcoming. It's still very, very scarce. You throw out this money here, corruption is still endemic, project inflation is still endemic, and even reporting, monitoring and evaluation and feedbacks are still very, very shortcoming. So it's a challenge, and that's why people are not really. People want to hear more and see more and feel more. Like they've been saying, you want to borrow money, you are going to pay back. We want to be sure that what you're putting the money on is viable and you will be able to pay back. So that you don't go start conversing about debt forgiveness, and some other issues. We want to know some of the obligations you are signing. Is that things you are signing, apart from the interest rate, the moratorium, what you're using the money for? Is there anything you are signing, behind? These things are not made public. I want to see.
All right, let's go to Abuja on this one. Mark.
You've talked about some of the critical areas where you want government to invest. Power and infrastructure, especially transport infrastructure, are key for you. Are you afraid that when this loan request is finally represented at the National Assembly, especially at the Senate, do you see any political interference in the way, especially as senators and members of the House of Reps, to be concerned about their constituencies?
That is also a reservation we're already having, so that the lawmakers doesn't reduce this debate and this argument on what is in it for me and my people. It's a challenge. I've had a senator talking about representation and Southeast and South and all of those this morning. Yes, it's important that everybody get a fair share of the cake, but the most important part of it is the transparency, is the loan conditionality. The projects, are they visible? Are they viable? Can they pay back? That is the most important thing. But if we must borrow, to be fair, it has to be a standard borrowing with almost zero interest rate, long moratorium, long tenure, and all of those. We're not debating on that. But again, borrowing is still not the only option on the table. There are so many options on the table. And I just want to sound the warning again that even if we are able to borrow $100 billion at zero interest rate and we don't apply it well, we still go back to square one. There are a lot of anchors and pillars that need to be built now that are not in place. Economy management team we've been talking about, ease of doing business, the right laws and regulation. You want to put the money on railway, for instance, good. If you do a good railway, but the right of way and the land laws are not cleaned up, how do you unleash the real estate revolution that goes with railway operations and everything? So making the right laws and ease of doing business, those small things we've been talking about, would have been the starting point before you just and if you clean up your ease of doing business environment, you may not need to borrow, because investors follow the money, they follow opportunity.
I thought they've been doing that, haven't they?
Well, what we've seen in that aspect is that we have this presidential commission on ease of doing business inaugurated about 2 months ago, and we've been saying let's see the work, and the target is that every year over the next few years we'll be moving from the 170 or 169 we are now by 20 points, and but we're saying that we want to see action and results, moving away from just words and plans.
Oh, we're looking forward to the day we have to call you back again, because you just said something about the research on the ports.
Exactly.
Because that's another area that many manufacturers and even individual business people have had an issue with, the ease of doing business, and when you get to Nigeria and how long it takes for you to get your stuff and services.
Well, that's Port and Maritime. Well, Dr. Vincent Nwani is the head research and advocacy for the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right, if you are going to hit the road, especially if you're area will be around Lagos Ibadan Expressway. Here's an advisory for you. It's coming through from the Federal Road Safety Corps. They say, look, you need to be careful because those roads will be closed on Thursday to Saturday, 11 a.m. on Thursday. So there's a 5-kilometer stretch of roads that Julius Berger is working on. So an alternative route may be good for you. So that's the show today. We'll be back. We'll see you next time. I'm Chamberlain. That's all.
Many thanks, Sulaiman Alede.